Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from IBG models. So this is quite interesting vehicle. As you can see, it's Italian SPG Semovente M41M, and in 1/72 scale it should be a fun build because it won't take a lot of space, and yet you get to copy a lot of features because it's a kit from IBG and they are usually giving quite detailed vehicles out of the box. And today we are going to check whether this one, let's say, corresponds with this principle. So as you can see, this is the final shape of this release, and you will get exactly the same stuff if you order it, for example, from official IBG website. The set number is 72131. We have quite nice box art here, and here is comparison with my hand. The box size is standard for this brand. Here on the side you can see 3 other kits which I reviewed as well, and you can find them on the same YouTube channel which you are watching at the moment. And on the opposite side you can see 3 marking options for this vehicle. They are quite colorful, but Italian camouflage might be tricky to replicate in this scale. And we will talk more about this when we will be checking the marking options. So let's open the box, and here you can see that there is plenty of space, and sprues are actually packed into separate Ziploc bags, which is quite impressive because later those Ziploc bags are always handy in our hobby. So definitely do not throw them away. And now we are going to start with the gray plastic sprues. So first of all, here comes the drivetrain. Why I'm saying drivetrain but not the tracks? Because here, as you can see, we have the road wheels which are molded together with the tracks. So such design will be definitely easier to assemble than the typical separate track parts. And the overall appearance looks fine, so maybe you can even paint it separately and then just install onto your vehicle. It will be your decision. I guess manufacturer just shows that you install it on the vehicle straight away, but I think there are some possible options which you can use for your own benefit. Next we continue with another plastic sprue, which is a Sprues C, and here we can actually see the design which is made in accordance with what we saw on the tracks. So here on the dry sprockets we don't have all of the teeth, and also here we have some of the idlers. We have also some parts for the main gun as far as I can guess, and some Pioneer tools here. Everything looks quite fine, but do not forget that this is 1/72 scale, so some parts get really tiny and you will have to be careful while getting them together. The Sprue D is supplied in 2 pieces, so I am going to show you from both sides these parts. As you can see here, we have the drivetrain bogies, we also have the separate road wheels, and some minor elements in terms of this lifting hooks for the main hull. So these hooks are really tiny, so be sure to have the sharp tweezers, otherwise it's impossible to get this into the right position. Do not even try, because later you just lose them, and then you have to make them, basically draft build them. Okay, next we continue with the large plastic sprues which are dedicated to the hull parts. And why I'm a bit stuttering here, because I'm checking the hull parts and it's really a quick assembly here, because as you can see, the lower hull section is molded as a single piece part, so you get it ready to be worked upon straight out of the box. So you just have to separate it, of course, but it's pretty much all. Here is the engine bay cover, pretty much the same story, so it's just one piece part. Unfortunately, all of the hatches are pre-molded, so you won't be able to open them. And here you can see also the main gun, which is also a one-piece part, and that's quite cool. I mean, even in this small scale, it's a handy feature, so you definitely benefit from getting such bonus out of the box. Next we continue with the Sprue B, and this one is the final gray plastic sprue. So in the meantime I will zoom out and open one more plastic bag while you are looking at it. So you can see that here we have the armor shield, we also have the top hull cover, and we have the mantlet cover, as well as some parts for the main gun. So what is again, the same as what we saw on the previous sprue, is that we have the hatches pre-molded. This is not exactly cool. I would prefer to have at least one hatch just for variety here in the frontal section, but unfortunately we have it pre-molded. And of course, as you can guess, there is no interior whatsoever, but it would be strange to ask interior in such vehicle, and I think the fighting compartment still will be quite detailed. Here you can take a closer look at this armor shield. And also here you can take a closer look at this top part, which is basically the glacis plate molded together with the fenders from both sides. And we have some Pioneer tools pre-molded here, so be sure to pick them out with a sharp brush. It will be a bit tedious, at least my experience was like this, but this is something what you should expect from 1/72nd scale. But here comes another, I would say, notable surprise. Note, first of all, the size of these parts. So they're very tiny, and these are PE parts, so you have to apply them with help of CA glue, and it will be tricky for sure. So I would recommend to get the proper PE bender tool so that you can hold it in place, bend it if necessary, and also cut out the parts as well. Next, we continue with the decals. So decals are provided by TechMod, and printing quality is quite good. Usually decals from TechMod are easy to handle. If camera will be kind enough to focus, you will see what I'm talking about here. So these are mainly small writings, not something what is easy to replicate with your own hands and tools, so it will be necessary to use these decals on the vehicle. But that's not all. Of course, you won't be able to, well, maybe you will be able, but it's easier to do it with the assembly manual. So here you can see the assembly manual, which is printed as a large color printed brochure. We have the some of the assembly advices here. No history note, unfortunately. I wonder why IBG keeps ignoring the history notes, because it's usually quite a funny thing to read, especially if they provide some special information. Here we continue with the parts map. Assembly process starts with the drivetrain. So here we assemble the suspension, and then we start working on the main hull. Then we install these suspension parts onto both sides. And that's what I was talking about. So maybe you can paint all of this stuff separately and then just install into the vehicle, because that will be basically the same sequence, even if you assemble all of these top parts in place. Next, here we continue with the fighting compartment. So it involves installation of the armor shield first, then you assemble the main gun. As you can see, the main gun is surprisingly nicely detailed for this scale, I would say, because this is not something what you would expect normally from 1/72nd scale. And then you install this armor shield, which we saw before. Then it's just a matter of connecting these two large sub-assemblies together, and that's pretty much all. So next we continue with the marking options. So here we have the vehicle from 1943 from Sicily, and one more from 1942. Next, we continue with the third marking option. As you remember, there were 3 of them. So this one again from 1943, camouflage vehicle, but here we have some nice insignia, which might look interesting in this scale. So overall, as I say, this kit is already available, and we have a nice copy of this Italian SPG in a very small size. So in case you're brave enough to work with such subject, then definitely take a look, because it's something different from all these typical Tigers and other vehicles which we are used to see in this scale. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion, so do not forget to write it here in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.